Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for TVS Nightline. Now, let's begin. Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS Secretary General Datuk Sri Alexander Nantal Linggi said the coalition will respect the Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg's pick for a new Deputy Chief Minister, adding that it is up to the Chief Minister to decide on the new state cabinet lineup. This comes after GPS won a landslide victory in the just concluded 12th state election. Following the result, talk is rife that Sarawak United People's Party SUPP President may be appointed as one of the Deputy Chief Ministers in the new lineup to replace the vacant slot left by the late Tan Sri Dato' Amar Dr. James Masing, who passed away on October 31st. On Saturday, Dr. Sim retained Batu Kawah seat with a 5,393 vote majority in a four-cornered fight against Dr. Kelvin Yee of Democratic Action Party, Chai Kue Kund of Parti Bumi Kenyalang, and Sarawak People's Aspiration Party candidate Fong Pao Te. The new Sarawak Government Ministers' Cabinet lineup is yet to be revealed by Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS a great victory, and the mandate by the people in the 12th state election shows that Abang Johari's leadership had been well received by the people. According to a political analyst, it is highly likely that the Deputy Chief Minister post would be given to a Chinese representative.
Mengambil kira dengan kemenangan besar ini, apa yang pasti Abang Jo akan melakukan perubahan dan mungkin memperkenalkan kementerian baharu dalam barisan kabinet yang bakal dibentuk oleh beliau nanti. Dan jawatan timbalan ketua menteri saya rasa sudah pasti juga akan diberikan kepada pengurusi SUPP, iaitu Datuk Seri Sim Kun Hian. Kerana pencapaian yang cermelang dilakukan oleh SUPP, terutama dapat mengambil balik beberapa kursi, 5 kursi majoriti kaum Cina pada PRN yang ke-12 lepas.
For the cabinet lineup, it has to be a government that takes into account all races to represent and develop the state.
Melihat kepada prestasi menteri-menteri ataupun timbalan menteri yang sebelum ini, saya rasa tidak salah bagi beliau untuk mengetengahkan muka baharu dalam kabinet beliau, barisan kabinet beliau nanti, dan menggugurkan menteri yang sebelum ini yang tidak menunjukkan prestasi yang menarik, prestasi yang memberansangkan.
He added that the state government on Abang Johari leadership also need to show a new and fair policy for the people. Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS landslide win on Saturday exemplifies the wants and need of Sarawakians for the state to be governed by a people-centric coalition, says Tupong Assemblyman Fazruddin Abdul Rahman. According to him, it is also a reflection of the voice of the people who reject political extremism, which continued to prey on religious and racial sentiments. He added that amidst the country's political turmoil, Sarawak must remain resilient in facing the challenges of the future to ensure continuous development in the state. In a statement, the Parti Pesaka Bumi Putra Bersatu PBB Deputy Youth Chief said that by obtaining over 2/3 majority, the state government under GPS can remain focused and committed to fighting for the people through various initiatives in ensuring the welfare and well-being of the people. He also thanked voters in Tupong for their trust in him to serve for a second term. Fazruddin defended N6 Tupong seat against Ahmad Nazib Johari of Parti Keadilan Rakyat PKR and Chang Hao Yand of Parti Bumi Kenyalang PBK with a majority of 11,209 votes. Dudong Assemblyman Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing said after his thumping victory, he will immediately get down to work for the benefits of the constituents. The newly elected assemblyman said he would engage with different communities in the community to form a committee to oversee matters in various areas in the constituency soon. The Progressive Democratic Party PDP president believed that through these committees, they will be able to discuss and formulate the right strategies to resolve issues or problems with the right solution together. In his Facebook post, Tiong also took the opportunity to express his appreciation to the media for being very supportive and the voters for their trust and support. Tiong won the Dudong seat with a majority of 5,804 votes, defeating Wong Hee Ping of Parti Sarawak Bersatu PSB, Jen Lau of PBK, Paul Ling Fong of DAP, Julius Encana Jasper Ancho of PBDSB, Josephine Lau Kiu Ping of Aspirasi, and independent candidate Fadil Muhammad Isa. Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC on Sunday released its Standard Operating Procedures SOP for the Christmas Day celebration. Among others, Christmas Day celebrations are to be celebrated only on its first day, and open houses are limited to family members subject to the size of the house. Holding open houses in halls, churches and public places is not permitted, as well as house-to-house caroling and Christmas Day selling activities. Meanwhile, houses of worship are also allowed to open and are subjected to the COVID-19 prevention and control protocol as stipulated in the SOP. To allow congregants to attend Mass or service, prayer time allowed is from 6 p.m. until 1 a.m. on December 25th for Christmas Eve and from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Christmas Day. The frequencies of such services are subjected to the churches, with mandatory sanitizing work in between sessions. In addition, the number of congregants allowed in the church is limited to 50%, depending on the size of the church, with physical distancing in place. Individuals yet to complete their vaccination are not allowed to attend the prayer sessions, and those exhibiting symptoms such as fever, coughing, sore throat, flu or breathing difficulty are not allowed to attend. Children below 12 years old are advised not to attend. However, they are to be accompanied by parents or guardians who have completed their vaccination should they attend. Elderly folks, as well as individuals with chronic diseases, are not encouraged to attend. The Domestic Trade and Consumers Affairs Ministry will be implementing the Christmas Festive Season Maximum Price Control Scheme, SHMPP, from Thursday, December 23rd until December 31st. The scheme would involve 8 types of food items, and the Ministry and the Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry will ensure the supply of such goods are sufficient and at stable market prices. Its Minister Dato Sri Alexander Nantalinggi said for Sarawak, Sabah and Labuan only, the food items comprised live old chicken, chicken wings, hokmo, and pork and lard. Other than that are items such as imported turkey, imported boned lamb, and green capsicums. Apart from 2021 Christmas SHMPP, he said the Malaysian Family Maximum Price Scheme SHMKM is being implemented until December 31st, involving 12 types of goods. SHMKM covered items such as chicken, eggs and vegetables, apart from ensuring adequate supply of the 12 types of goods.
Mana-mana peniaga yang melakukan kesalahan akan diambil tindakan di bawah Akta Kawalan Harga dan Akti Pencatutan 2011. Dan boleh dikenakan penalti seperti berikut. Kesalahan menjual barangan harga terkawal melebihi harga maksimum. Individu boleh didenda oleh mahkamah sehingga RM100,000 atau dipenjarakan tidak melebihi 3 tahun atau kedua-duanya.
Nanta said more than 2,200 Enforcement Command Centre officers and more than 1,000 price monitoring officers would be mobilized nationwide to monitor the 2021 Christmas SHMPP in urban and rural areas. He added traders found committing offences would face action under the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Act 2011. Companies could face fines of up to 500,000 ringgit or compounds up to 250,000 ringgit. Now, the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department JBPM is ready to operate at full capacity to assist flood victims if condition worsens. Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Bomba Director Datuk Kirudin Diraman said surveillance has been carried out throughout Sarawak in order to identify areas at risk of flooding.
Sebab itulah rondaan kita dah buat lebih kurang hampir pada hari ini sebelum pilihan raya itu sampai pagi ini 600 lebih rondaan pemantauan kawasan yang kita buat supaya makluman awal dapat kita salurkan kepada agensi-agensi dan juga kepada champion-champion kita di kawasan-kawasan terpencil lah contohnya.
Adding to that, he said that JBPM Sarawak has mobilized its force to assist flood victims in the effort to reduce the impact of the disaster. In that, he also reminded the public to always follow the instructions from the authorities, especially those living in flood-prone areas.
Kita ambil kesempatan ini untuk menasihatkan orang ramai apabila pihak agensi penyelamat ataupun agensi-agensi di bawah Sarawak Disaster Management Committee memberi nasihat kalau boleh patuhi nasihat kita sebab kita tidak mahu mengambil chances ataupun kebakaran yang tidak tentu berdasarkan pada tabuan angin ini dan perubahan angin boleh berlaku bila-bila masa.
Apart from that, JPBM Sarawak would also like to ensure the public not to worry about leaving their houses as the areas will be strictly monitored at all times. An elderly woman was injured and 4 houses badly damaged following a landslip at Jalan Pelimbayan, Indah, Kuala Lumpur early this morning. Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department JBPM deployed firefighters from the Taman Tun Dr. Ismail and Sri Hatamas fire stations to the scene after receiving a call regarding the incident at 1:22 a.m. Kuala Lumpur JBPM Assistant Director Operations Khairul Azwan Ibrahim said, upon arriving at the scene, firemen found 4 houses crushed by the landslide. A woman in her 70s was also found buried up to her waist in the rubble. Khairul Azwan said 35 rescue personnel from various agencies, including the police and civil defense force, were sent to the scene. The area is now closed to facilitate safety inspection works. The bodies of 3 individuals reported missing in a mud flood incident in Telemong, Bentong have been found by the Search and Rescue SAR team. The 3 were among 5 swept away by mud floods in the Sunday incident. Their identities, however, are yet to be ascertained. The first body was found by the rescue team at 1 p.m., while the bodies of the 2 women were recovered at 1:20 p.m. and 2 p.m. respectively. About 2 to 5 kilometers from the spot, they were reported missing after being swept away by strong currents following the incident. Meanwhile, the search and rescue operation for other missing victims is still underway. On Sunday, police received reports regarding the disappearance of 5 people in an incident at a village in Telemong. Earlier, Telemong Volunteer Fire Brigade Chairman Lai Wah Fung said the route to reach the scene was inaccessible following a landslip incident along the Kuala Lumpur-Karak Highway. The Health Ministry, MOH, is expecting an increase in positive COVID-19 cases at relief centres PPS nationwide following the floods in the country. Its Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the PPS were considered high-risk areas and public health measures could not be implemented and fully complied. As of 11 a.m. today, 181 positive COVID-19 cases had been detected at PPS nationwide.
Sebab keutamaan dalam kita menyelamat mangsa banjir ini adalah untuk menyelamatkan mereka, dan kadang-kalanya memang tidak dapat dielakkan beberapa perkara yang sepatutnya dibuat dalam langkah kesihatan awam tak dapat dipatuhi. Kita faham, contoh tidak ada pelitup muka dan sebagainya. You're rescuing people from the flood, that is the priority. So kita faham, cuma kita bersiap sedia. Mungkin akan berlaku kenaikan kes disebabkan beberapa langkah-langkah kesihatan awam memang tak dapat dipatuhi disebabkan keadaan banjir.
The screening results at the PPS also found that most of the cases were from Category 1 and 2. All of them had been transferred to hospitals, COVID-19 Low-Risk Quarantine and Treatment Centre PKRC. According to Khairi, the ministry also identified 206 flood victims as close contacts. To cope with the increase in COVID-19 cases, the public health system is geared up to receive more patients due to the floods.
Ya, kita akan tambah bilangan pasukan KKM di lapangan. Di Pahang ada 291 yang kita sediakan disebabkan sekarang ini Pahang sudah menjadi kawasan yang terjejas teruk pada hari ini. Dan kita akan teruskan dengan saringan kita di PPS supaya kita dapat kenal pasti mereka yang positif COVID dan mereka diasingkan, dan kontak-kontak rapat mereka juga dikenal pasti dan diasingkan. Ini sedang kita melaksanakan di lapangan selain daripada bekalan pelitup muka dan bekalan hand sanitizer dan sebagainya untuk dihantar ke semua PPS. Ini adalah langkah-langkah yang telah pun bermula sejak 2 hari lepas.
Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation (MATRADE) is ready to lend assistance to mid-tier companies, MTC, and small and medium enterprises (SME) affected by the recent floods. At the moment, the agency has yet to receive information on the affected companies. MATRADE Chief Executive Officer Muhammad Mustafa Abdulaziz said the government is still assessing the severity of the situation. Meanwhile, on the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership (RCEP), Muhammad Mustafa said MATRADE would collaborate with trade associations to identify companies that are capable to penetrate global market. MATRADE would take a granular effort to find companies that have the capacity to improve and compete with competitors in bigger markets. After 33 days of sitting from October 25th, the second meeting of the 4th term of the 14th Parliament was adjourned since today, with 16 bills tabled and passed, including the Supply Bill 2022, Budget 2022. The sitting has also made history when it passed the Constitution Amendment Bill 2021 related to the Malaysia Agreement 1963 with a more than two-thirds majority on December 14.
The amendments were made to strengthen the position of Sabah and Sarawak in the Federation of Malaysia. Also passed in this session were the Finance Bill 2021, Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Amendment Bill 2021, Patents Amendment Bill 2021, Copyright Amendment Bill 2021, and Malaysian Space Board Bill 2020. Before the end of the sitting, Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Azhar Azizan Harun livened up his closing speech with a pantun recital describing the antics of several members of Parliament.
Batu kawan berwarna-warni, jelutung pula tidak habis berdiri. Setiap hari kita di sini, amanah rakyat kita penuhi.
Jawab tak? Boleh jawab tak?
Amat berhormat bera, orangnya tenang. Rembau pula orangnya tampan. YDP kadang-kadang memanglah naik berang. Namun apa-apa pun di hati tak pernah disimpan.
Azhar said the session this time was held taking into account the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, with various measures taken including requiring those attending the sitting to conduct RT-KAG saliva tests on a regular basis and encouraging all the MPs to take COVID-19 vaccine booster shot.
Amendments to the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988, Act 342, which were to be discussed and decided today, have been postponed to the next Parliament sitting. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the decision was made after discussing the matter with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and Opposition Leader Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, apart from taking into account the current flood situation in the country.
Bahawa menurut Peraturan Mesyuarat 62, saya mohon mencadangkan Rang Undang-Undang Pencegahan dan Pengawalan Penyakit Berjangkit Pindaan 2021 seperti dalam aturan urusan mesyuarat pada hari ini ditangguh bacaan kali kedua dan ketiga ke mesyuarat akan datang.
The Dewan Rakyat was supposed to end last Thursday but was extended for one more day today to discuss and pass the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Amendment Bill 2021. According to Khairi, the ministry had an engagement session with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, Science and Innovation at 8 a.m. today, in line with the spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU on transformation and political stability between the federal government and Pakatan Harapan PH. Khairi said if the bill was approved without the consensus of political parties, it would hamper smooth implementation of the amendment.
Bukan disebabkan tidak disokong secara dasarnya ataupun perkara-perkara substantif yang sebahagian besar telah pun dipersetujui. Cuma ada beberapa detail yang masih lagi perlu sesi yang akan datang supaya dapat dipersetujui bersama.
My Lesson Goods Driving License 2.0 GDL 2.0 is offering job opportunities for 700 Malaysians to qualify as professional movers. The program is aimed at helping logistics and transport companies address driver shortages. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wee Ka Siong in a statement today said the Road Transport Department (RTD) under the Transport Ministry had begun registrations for the GDL 2.0. He said registration for the initiative is open until December 31st for Malaysians aged 21 and above who possessed Class D or E competent driving license CDL, adding that the candidates must not be blacklisted by the courts, RTD or police. Additionally, we said driving courses would be held in selected qualified driving schools nationwide. Interested candidate can register at the link shown. Welcome back, and here's the foreign news. The first ever millipede with over 1,000 legs has been discovered in Australia. Scientists described it as the leggiest millipede on Earth. The new species has 1,306 legs and found on the ground in a mining region in Western Australia in 2020, but wasn't publicized until this month. The species lives in complete darkness in a subterranean habitat loaded with iron and volcanic rocks. Lacking eyes, it uses other senses such as touch and smell to perceive its environment. It belongs to a family of fungi-eating millipedes, so the researchers suspect that is what it eats. It was discovered in Western Australia state's Goldfields Esperance region, in an area where miners dig for gold and other minerals including lithium and vanadium. One of the adult females described in the study had 1,306 legs and the other had 998. One of the two adult males had 818 legs and the other had 778. The number of legs is not uniform within millipede species, because they molt, shedding their tough outer layer, grow and add four-legged segments throughout their life. Instead of the usual slides ridden by Santa Claus, dozens of them have switched to gondolas. In Venice, dozens of Santa Claus swapped slides for gondolas as they rode along Venice canals. The cold weather kept away many residents and tourists, but this did not stop the Santas taking part in the colorful Christmas regatta. Italian newspapers reported on Sunday that the government is considering new measures to avoid a surge in COVID-19 infections during the holiday period, amid worries of the spread of the highly contagious Omicron coronavirus variant. After holding a meeting with ministers on December 23rd, Prime Minister Mario Draghi could impose an obligation on the vaccinated to show a negative test to access crowded places. Negative tests were also required to enter cinemas and theatres, along with the need to adorn masks outdoors. Under current rules, people who have been vaccinated or have recently recovered from the disease have free access to indoor seating at bars and restaurants, museums, cinemas, clubs and sporting events. Well, that's conclude TVS Nightline for today. I'm Ruben Gomez. Anytime, anywhere.